Hey, family, welcome, welcome. Come on in, come on in, come on in. You know what to do. Get in the comment section, like, comment, share. I want a lot of engagement. Normally, this show is going to be on Monday nights, but had some technical difficulties, so I had to come on Tuesday night tonight. But I am in here, so do me, as I said, do me a favor. Hey, share this wherever you can. Tag some people in it. Like, give me all that engagement, all that excitement. I'm not going to be here in front of you long tonight, but I did want to share some things with you, and I'm excited. Of course, my name is Sean Hill. If you do not know me, ADOS, and I am kind of the organizer of the ADOS Action Group. So if you're are about reparations, ending mass incarceration, closing the racial wealth gap, make sure you search and get in the ADOS Action Group because we're about action and not talk. And so, with that being said, let me get up here just a minute, and we're gonna make this thing happen. We're gonna get it going. So the first thing I want to talk about right here, talk about Trump. Okay, let me get this one. Hold on just a minute. A little technical difficulty there. Okay, give me one moment here. This thing go. All right, here we go. So, nearly 100% of Trump's funds designed to help farmers went to white farmers. Okay, so let's get right into this. What is it talking about? President Trump made a big deal out of his administration farmers, a deal out of his administration for farmers, calling them some of the most incredible people in our country and patriots. But based on a newly acquired data on federal subsidies from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, his administration may not have been thinking of all farmers, mostly just the rich white ones. According to the Freedom of Information Act request filed by the New Food Economy, the Trump administration funded 99.5%. You didn't understand me. You don't hear what I said. 99.5% of funds from the approximate year-old market facilitation program, the largest current source of federal farm subsidies to white farm operators. Trump announced the MFP last summer as a means of softening the blow on the ongoing trade war with China, allocating $12 billion in direct payments to growers. As of May 15 of this year, the USDA has dispersed more than $8.5 billion from the program to farm operations, primarily to soy, corn, wheat, cotton, and sorghum growers. Reuters reports, according to the Department of Agriculture census, there are around 45,000 black farmers in the U.S. in 2017. Compare that to nearly 1 million black farmers in 1910. So we know we've lost a lot of ground. Even though most farmers today are white, 3.2 million, or 95% of farmers, black farms tend to be smaller and generate less income compared to white farmers. It's not clear if the farmers of color, see black farmers from, I tell you, they slick, boy, apply to the program at the same rate as white counterparts, but the distribution of funds still reveals disparities between white and black farmers in certain regions. In Mississippi, for instance, where 38% of the state's population is black, about 14% of farms have a black principal operator, according to 2017 Census of Agriculture. However, only 1.4% of the 200 million in MLP funds distributed to farmers in the Magnolia State went to black operators. And see, fam, this is why politics is so important. See, farmers are probably the original small business owners. They are the original do-it-yourselfers. Because if you don't get it done on the farm yourself, it's just not going to get done. But we see that even in this, politics matters. Politics will always matter because the system is rigged against us. So you got to get involved, fam. You got to get involved. Let me see what people are saying in the chat. Hello, here we go. Blame that seed. Obama didn't help out the black farmers. Well, Roland, there it is. Hey, Yvonne, what's going on? It's good to see you guys. Make sure you're sharing the show. Let's get back to it. Just had to say that. All right. Get here. I tell you, amazing. The finding disparities didn't just have to do with race. According to the new report released on Tuesday by the nonprofit Environmental Working Group, the vast majority of MMP funds went to the wealthiest 10% of recipients, the country's biggest and most successful farmers. So when we hear about these farm subsidies, understand, even when we talk about them, it's like, oh, they're saving the small farmer. Oh, he's doing, no. This is going to big farms. Of course, you don't even have to say big, wealthy white farms because that's the majority of the farms. So that's not even, doesn't even be said. It seems as though many have turned a deaf ear to America's small farmers and black farmers alike, says John Boyd, founder and president of the Black Farmers Association, when he testified before the House Committee on Financial Services earlier this month. Anytime the government gets involved, when they say it's going to be a speedy payment to farmers, it's always last for African-American farmers. It's always last for Latino farmers and small-scale farmers and women farmers. So, hey, all lives matter farmers. The USDA did not respond to the GIST request for comment. For many U.S. farmers whose crops primary market is China, having access to federal subsidies to help deal with the country's trade war, once again, 45, once again, Trump, to make or break is a make or break benefit. Growers already deal with a plethora of issues such as falling farm income, commodity prices, raising debt, and floods that disrupt crop growth. And suffice to say, it's not just white farmers who are suffering. The USD has a long history of discrimination against farmers of color, black farmers. Please stop. Okay, we're not going to, I'll let that go. A 1994 report commissioned by the department itself said minorities receive less than their fair share of USDA money for crop payments, disaster payments, and loans. For many years, the USDA has systematically favored white farmers by denying or delaying loans to black farmers. Understand, wrote Scott Faber, Senior Vice President of Environmental Working Group, in the organization's latest report. As to the latest on the MFP last week, President Trump plans to greenlight $16 billion as part of the second year of the program. About $14.5 billion of those funds will be in forms of direct payments to growers. Reparations. Understand to a specific group. This is how wealth is transferred. This is how things get done in the government. Please, you got to see that. Please understand it. So when we talk about politics, please understand it's important. All lives matter, farmers. I know, my man. I know, Michael. All lives matters. Oh well, we got to include everybody. We got to include everybody, even when we get done wrong. We just can't let it be. We got to include everybody else. But understand what we're saying, fam. That's what's happening. That's what's going on. And it takes more than us. Oh well, throwing our hands up, saying, "Oh well, that doesn't surprise me." I'm not shocked. You have to get involved. You have to get involved. You don't have to even join the ADOS movement. That's fine, but get involved. Join something, because this doesn't change. This doesn't just go away because we just say, "Oh well, I'm just not surprised." Okay, really sad. All right, fam. So let's move on. What do we got next? Oh, this is something that's really near and dear to my heart, and something that's being more and more prevalent right now. I think it was just last week. It was reported about trafficking, human trafficking, in Uber drivers. Uber drivers, and this article was from 2017. So this one is a little old, but we really have to watch out for our community. We have to watch out for each other. We have to take care of each other, family, because it is dangerous out there. We know for sexual human trafficking and for parts. I mean, you would think this stuff happens in some third world country, but many times in many areas of this country, ADOS people are living in third world conditions. We could talk about Alabama, we talk about Mississippi, we talk about a lot of areas. And so if you haven't done it yet, please share the show. This information needs to get out as we talk about this. But at the end, I'm going to tell you a little bit about something else. All right. So while the crisis of missing black girls needs more attention than it's getting, okay. So academic study analyzed news coverage of missing children and found that only 20% of reported stories focused on missing black children. This, despite the fact that black children account for 33% of total missing children cases. In other words, missing black youths are grossly underreported in the news for missing girls. It's even worse when Black girls go missing. Far too many people don't know or don't care. Consistently, Black girls are disproportionately reported missing, get here, from their homes and communities. And when they go missing, the disparity in coverage compared to, let me see, okay, but our society seems content to ignore them at best and dehumanize them at worst. We see this regularly in Pittsburgh, and we got ADOS in Pittsburgh. So shout out to ADOS in Pittsburgh, where I live. When this happens, my organization posts information on our social media network using the hashtag Black Girls Missing. Community-driven effort is often what returns girls home safely to their families and community, with minimal reporting from the media and limited support from the police in those critical first 48 hours. And so once again, fam, we see community people getting involved, making a difference. This is what it takes. We can no longer rely on the powers that be. We have to take matters into our own hand legally, not doing anything harm or anything like that, but we have to take matters into our own hands and help our own community. We can no longer just sit at home and say, oh, well, I'm not surprised. That's not going to get it anymore. The same disquieting trend was recently reported in Washington, D.C., with 10 Black and Latina girls who have gone missing the past few months. In most cases, we don't know whether these young women have run away from home, were abducted, subjected to violence, fallen into the sex industry. Put simply, the proper alarm bells are not being rung, and not nearly enough is being done to ensure these girls are brought back home safely to their families. This is a nationwide problem. As of 2014, 64,000 Black women were missing across the U.S. This is highly disproportionate. Now, you remember, we deal in data, we deal in numbers. This is a highly disproportionate rate with the total number of missing persons reported. You think you hear stories of 64,000 missing women in the news, yet we don't. So I'm going to stop. I'm going to, leave that right there. But here's what I want to say, and here's what I want you to understand. We hear about Uber. We hear about we're really afraid of people out there, hitting us on the side of the head, snatching us in vans, snatching us in cars. But I was listening to a report just the other night, and what they were saying is a lot of these young people are getting led astray and led off by friends in their own schools. Because what a lot of these predators are doing is they're tempting other kids to recruit these kids into that lifestyle, right? So a lot of times they're buying these kids clothes. A lot of times they're threatening them with withholding food from them. And this is happening in our schools. So my encouragement to you is to understand this. Get involved with your school. Know who your children are around. It's not this Uber driver that we need to be worried about. It's what's happening in your school. It's who your kids are around. It's who's talking to your children and what they're saying to them. So we have to make sure we're vigilant. We have to make sure we're alert. We have to make sure that we are part of the solution and not part of the problem. And understand this. This is happening to young boys as well. Let's not neglect our young boys. It's happening to young boys and our young girls and older as well. But I'm telling you, the crisis that's happening now, we have to take control of. Okay. So last but not least, we're going to get on here. We're going to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart. You already know it. We're going to talk about Comcast. We're going to talk about Byron Allen. And I tell you, the news just gets more and more damning for Comcast. A former exec, now this was recent, November 22nd, so this is just a few days ago. Former Comcast exec defends Byron Allen lawsuit, exposes companies dealing with Black networks. Let's get here. Another major voice is speaking out about cable giant Comcast. Y'all still got Comcast. I know in some areas you have to have it. I get it. It's the only one. But some of you need to really get rid of that stuff because they're coming against us. They hate Black people. I'm just telling you. I'll just tell you like it is. They could not want to tear down these laws if they didn't really hate it. So I understand that. Understand that we're funneling money into an organization that's coming against us. So anyway, let me move forward. I'll stay there all night. On Friday, Paula Madison, a former NBC University executive, released a statement alleging the company left black cable networks to fail, even while it touted them as examples of diversity. Comcast owns NBC Universal. So understand, this was about show. This was about symbolism. Oh yeah, we're diverse. We have diversity. Woo, look what we're doing. But guess what? They're not given the resources to be successful. Madison was present during the MOU. So this isn't somebody that heard something, or it was rumored. This is a person that was in the room. Negotiations in 2011, in which Comcast agreed to launch channels led by black entrepreneurs Sean Diddy Combs, Revolt, and Magic Johnson. The right. I'm kind of concerned. Has somebody seen Magic? Magic's been awfully quiet about this. I think we might need to send the bat signal up for Magic. Okay. However, Madison says her concerns about a lack of meaningful distribution, i.e. guaranteed subscribers and revenue, fell on deaf ears. Comcast made it clear that it was only committed to launching these networks and not giving them necessary distribution and economic support to succeed, period. In other words, we just want to get it out there. We just want to launch it. Whether they fail or succeed, we don't care. In fact, we probably, we're happy if it does. She said, I shared these concerns with Comcast that the African-American networks would be positioned to fail. Comcast made it clear that it was only committed to launching these networks and not giving them the necessary distribution and economic support to succeed. These are the people we're talking about. Madison's, whose family investment business is the largest stakeholder in the African channel, which is run by Comcast, says the company has not been a good business partner in that regard either. So understand what this is like. Here's the example. Here's the equivalent. Imagine you're playing Monopoly and you have 5 people around the Monopoly table. And you say, you know what? I need to have a seat. And they say, that's fine. Come on in. What we're going to do, we're going to give you the little card. Yeah, you can play. But see, we already own 90%, own 99% of this. And yeah, you won't have any money. You can move the table. You can look like you're playing, but we're going to give you money. You're just going to go around the table. And also, we're going to give you that one little Baltic Avenue, that one little cheap property. And yeah, we're not going to put any houses in. So now every time you go around, every time you hit something, you're paying, but you're never getting paid back. That's the equivalent. That's why we are coming against Comcast and we are not going away. All right, fam. Well, this is episode 1 of ADOS News You Can Use. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed this, if this helped you out, gave you some information, give me some hearts, some likes, some thumbs up. Make sure you share the show and come back here every Monday, not Tuesday. Come back here every Monday as we have more ADOS News You Can Use. All right, fam. I'm out here. I love each and every one of you. You have a wonderful evening. Talk to you later. Goodbye.